let's make sure my mic is working, so I don't start the stream muted again. I believe it is. We should be good to go. What is up, everybody? Wonderbro here with Vacate Fear. Let's get the stream pulled up on my end. Where's it at? Right there. Okay, there we go. What is going on, everybody? Wonderbro here. It's good to see you guys. It's good to be here for another stream. I know we're starting today's stream a little bit late. A little bit late. I get it. I get it. You guys are used to like the afternoon streams, but I just now woke up. I just now woke up like an hour ago, so this is literally as early as I could possibly start the stream today. Brian, what's up, dude? Welcome to the stream. So, today we're going to be talking about the ups and downs of recovery. A lot of people get frustrated by the ups and downs of anxiety recovery. Second fear, reworking second fear, dropping the second fear. A lot of people get aggravated because they come to me and they're like, Wonder Bro, last week was so good, and this week I just can't seem to get it together, dude. What am I doing wrong? And they start to overthink this thing, right? And we know that overthinking is a killer for anxiety recovery. So we're going to talk about the ups and downs of recovery today. We've spoke about this a few times in the past, but I feel like we haven't really given it enough of the spotlight. So we're gonna do that today. Did we let the Discord know? I always forget. Yeah, okay. We let the Discord know. I'm gonna drop the Discord link in the live chat right now. For those of you who are constantly let down by the YouTube notification system, there we go. I always try to notify the Discord every single time before we go live. So join us over there on Discord. We have a little over 400 people over there. It's a great place to be. Everybody's rooted in acceptance and everybody is very supportive of one another. So there is the Discord chat right there. All right, let's give it a few more minutes and then we're going to get started on this stream. The ups and downs of anxiety recovery. Second fear, it can be frustrating, it can be aggravating when you go from having a really good day to a really kind of day, or if you go from a really good week to a really kind of week. It can be frustrating, it can be aggravating. So let's talk about that today. What's up, Migs? Welcome to the stream, dude. Yeah, exactly, Jesse. Well, that's not the way to handle second fear. That's the way to not add second fear. So you say just let the fear and thoughts come. Exactly. We don't want to get involved because this is a fight. Leave it there. Don't fight. Exactly. That's the way to handle second fear. The only thing I would change with that statement is that's the way to not add second fear. That's the way to not add second fear. Second fear is a choice. So when we say to handle second fear, that would imply that you've already been adding it. Let's not even add it. Let's stop ourselves before we even get to the point of adding it, right? All right, let's see here. Let's see, y'all. Come one, come all. Welcome to the stream, everybody. The ups and downs of recovery. You gotta love it. Gotta love it. I know somebody said last time my microphone was a little low, so we're gonna turn that up. I'm gonna turn that up a little bit for today's stream. All right. All right, that should be a little bit louder. A little bit louder. About 3 minutes into this. We're gonna get going in just a second. Let some people get in here. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing? Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving, I hope? I wonder, bro, what's up, King? Welcome to the stream, dude. Even if they're the most bizarre, violent thoughts, then we should try our best not to engage and not put logic into it. You can try to put logic into it, but see how far it gets you. See how far it gets you if you do that. Okay, there's a difference between a thought and an urge. And you have to understand that bizarre, violent, intrusive thoughts are probably one of the most common types of intrusive thoughts that people suffer with or experience. There's a big difference between an urge and a thought. Okay, and the fact that these thoughts disgust you so much is proof in itself that you don't actually have an urge or that you don't wish to act on these thoughts. Now, the problem with introducing logic is that you fall down the rabbit hole and you stay stuck in this obsession for hours on end, and all you're doing is fueling the thoughts. You're making them stronger. You're making them stronger. You're making them stronger. That's why I mentioned in the past so often, if you don't want to go with just leaving the thoughts alone, not engaging, right, which is what I recommend, if you absolutely must flip a thought, you need to do it very quickly, and you need to leave it alone at that point. I know some people are such huge fans of thought flipping and that sort of thing, where you notice a negative, intrusive thought and you turn it into a positive one. That's great. If you want to do that, I'll let you do that. If you want to do that, I'll let you do that. But under one circumstance, you have to make it very quick, like one sentence, and then get the hell out of there, because any more than that is just a fight. It's just a struggle. You're just fueling the fire. You're just dousing the fire in gasoline if you do that. So if you take it any further than that, it's really a useless act, and you're just hurting yourself. Me personally, I will always recommend to just notice these thoughts, chalk them up as intrusive negative thoughts, know that it's not the real you, and drop it. Don't try to fight with it. Just drop it. Come back to the present moment. That's what I'll always recommend. Jesse, what's up, Jen? FIFA, good morning. How are you doing? Symptoms, then I have a terrible day. Comes with terrible symptoms. I get so discouraged and irritated. How to deal with this? Well, you're in the right stream, because that is the title of today's stream, the ups and downs of recovery, and that's what we're getting ready to talk about. So hang out for just a moment. So hang out for just a moment. We're going to talk about that, the ups and downs of anxiety recovery. How long have we been streaming? For about 6 minutes. All right, let's go ahead and get this stream started. Let's get this point of the stream underway. So, the ups and downs of anxiety recovery. It's almost like you go from being one person to another. It's almost like you don't know who you are from one day to the next. One day you're having a really good day. It's easy to accept your symptoms. It's easy to not get involved. It's easy to not add second fear. And then the next day you're just obsessing, obsessing, obsessing. These thoughts and feelings are coming. You can't seem to log out. You're just so involved. You're so entangled. You're just getting involved, invested, 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 adding all of this second fear. You know you're doing it, maybe. You're probably to the point where you've watched the streams enough that you know you're doing it, which makes it even more frustrating. So, understand this first and foremost: having ups and downs is a very normal part of recovery. And this is because a body that is not completely healed or desensitized is going to experience ups and downs, as far as physical symptoms go and as far as these negative intrusive thoughts go. Now, when you're having a day where the body is really throwing a fit, okay, that doesn't mean that all your work up until that point was useless or pointless or good for nothing. In fact, you need to take advantage of these very anxious days. You need to take advantage of this. Don't look at it as a setback. It's only a setback if you start jumping right back into second fear. Then we'll call it a setback. I'll give you that. But it's not a setback because you go from having a really good week to a really tough day to a really frustrating week. Okay? That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong, unless you're adding second fear. Then in that case, yes, you're doing something wrong. But that doesn't mean anything. There's going to be ups and downs. A body that is not completely healed is going to experience days where symptoms are higher. It's going to experience days where negative intrusive thoughts are more frequent. It's because you're not in a completely healed body yet, and these are the symptoms of not being in a completely healed body. So, instead of experiencing these ups and downs, which are very much normal, in a way that you tell yourself, oh, well, now I'm going back, I'm losing progress, I'm doing something wrong. Instead of doing that, which is just adding second fear, that in itself is just second fear that the body's going to have to pay for. Instead of doing that, you need to change your mindset from one of, oh, well, I'm doing something wrong and this is horrible, to, okay, it is a perfect chance to retrain. And we've said this a lot in the past. When you are anxious, that is when your brain is going to learn the most. So don't look at your bad days as a sign that you're doing something wrong. As long as you've been practicing non-involvement, not adding second fear, just being the silent, we love this, the silent observer of your thoughts and feelings, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just having a day where the symptoms of being sensitized are around. And this is perfect because this is what you need to work with. This is when you really need to buckle down. So, as far as dealing with the ups and downs of recovery is concerned, my biggest tip is to not get frustrated thinking that you've lost progress, thinking that you're doing something wrong. As long as you're not adding second fear, you're doing everything right. Okay? So don't overcomplicate this. A lot of people tend to overcomplicate this, and this is just second fear. So don't overcomplicate this. if you're having a day where symptoms are high, if you're having a day where there's a lot of negative intrusive thoughts, simply remind yourself, okay, this is a perfect day for practice. This is a perfect day to show my brain that all is well. I know this isn't the real me. This is a perfect day to behave like the real me. This is a perfect day to not add second fear. This is a perfect day for this. So that is my biggest tip. Don't get frustrated. Don't get aggravated and say, "Oh, well, I'm fucking up somewhere. I'm doing something wrong." This is all just more second fear. Understand that you are going to have ups and downs. Yes, I know they can be extremely annoying because you had such a good day yesterday, and now here's today, and it's like it's raining on your parade. I get that, but let's turn that frustration into excitement. Let's turn that frustration into excitement. Okay, I'm frustrated as hell. No, no, you're not. You're excited because today we can practice what we've learned. Today we can show the body that there's no need for this anxiety. You know it's not the real you. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's just a very, very normal part of recovery to have ups and downs. What it's going to come down to is how you handle those ups and downs. How you handle those ups and downs. Are you getting involved with the negative intrusive thoughts instead of just letting them be there? Are you adding second fear to these negative intrusive thoughts and these physical symptoms? If the answer to that question is no, then it doesn't matter how many ups and downs you may have. It doesn't matter how many ups and downs you may have. As long as you're not adding second fear by not getting involved, you are healing. You are healing, and you need to be proud of yourself during these moments. My anxiety's high, my negative intrusive thoughts are strong, but I'm not adding second fear. I'm not getting involved. Therefore, I'm doing wonders for my brain. I am truly showing my brain the right message here. And I'm happy about that. I'm excited about that because my work today is going to lead to my extended peace tomorrow, right? So don't get frustrated. Don't get aggravated. Don't get annoyed by these thoughts and feelings. Don't think to yourself, I've fallen back. I've lost progress. This is not true. As long as you're not adding second fear, you are making progress. And you might not see the reward of that today, but you certainly will see it in the future. So understand, for starters, that ups and downs are very normal and they're to be expected. Okay. And secondly, just simply remind yourself, instead of overcomplicating this, which is just a form of second fear, just simply remind yourself, as long as I'm not adding second fear, okay, which is to get involved mentally, to fight, resist, to judge, then I'm healing. And that's all I need to know. Drop it right there. That's all I need to know. Drop it right there. All right, you guys, so take advantage of those down days. Take advantage, smile, and get excited. All right? So that was the point of today's stream. I see a lot of people come and go. A lot of people get frustrated over the fact that, you know, they're having ups and downs, and this frustration and this aggravation is just second fear in itself. All right, so I wanted to make sure people were dropping that. I wanted to make sure people were dropping that mindset because the more frustrated and the more aggravated you get over having ups and downs, this is just more stress to the body, and it's not needed, okay? It's never worth adding second fear. It's never worth adding second fear no matter the situation, all right? You guys remember that. So I'm going to read some comments now. I hope somebody takes something from that. Um, What's up, Rich? It's good to see you, dude. It's been a minute. Hey, Wonder Bro, how you doing? What's up, Red? Welcome to the stream. Intrusive thought, hooked on in time. I wasn't my best self, so I feel like there is truth to it. What does it make me? Is it something deep down in my soul that is a monster trying to get out? Lisa, you are simply sensitized. Do not overcomplicate this, girl. Do not overcomplicate this. Don't go thinking about monsters and demons. You are in a sensitized body. You have picked up a bad habit of second fear, which is to get too involved in your thoughts and feelings and turn them into problems instead of just letting them be. Acceptance. All you've done is picked up a bad habit of second fear, which is leading to the way that you feel today. And all we've got to do is drop that bad habit of second fear to get you back to your true self. Don't go overcomplicating this thing. Don't go blaming it on angels and demons. All right, I promise you, you have picked up a bad habit that has led to a stressed out body. And all you've got to do is drop that same bad habit that you picked up to get to your old self again. That is all. Leave it there. Love this. Thank you. What's up, Sally? Welcome to the stream. Hi, how are you? What is up, Red? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I wanted to get on here and do a stream and cover this subject because I see so many people making that mistake, whether it be in my messages or on the stream or on my social media. I see so many people saying, "Oh, Wonder Bro, I've been doing so good. Now here it is again today." Well, what do you think that mindset is? When you have the mindset of, "Here it is again today," is that an accepting mindset? Is that a mindset that doesn't involve second fear? No, it's not. It's not, and you might think, well, I'm not adding second fear, I'm just frustrated. Well, frustration, aggravation, what are they rooted in? They're rooted in resistance. Frustration and aggravation is rooted in resistance. So it may not seem like you're adding second fear because you're frustrated or aggravated, but you are, because that's rooted in resistance. That's rooted in a fight. So I see it all the time, and that's why I wanted to address that. Don't get aggravated or frustrated at the days where you're feeling a little low. Get excited. Get excited because today you can experience, you can practice your acceptance method. Today you can use it to your advantage. Today you can truly start to rewire your brain, right? So don't get frustrated. Don't get aggravated. This is all a form of second fear, a form of resistance, a form of judgment. Be happy, all right? Be happy that you're experiencing this down day because today you can practice. Today you can put in that work. Thank you, Wonder Bro. Guilt of a thought is really hard to ignore. Yeah, but just like we would accept the feelings of anxiety that is felt in the body, just like we would accept the negative intrusive thoughts, we would also accept emotions like guilt, right? And the same goes for frustration and aggravation. You may notice that you're getting frustrated, accept that that has happened, accept that you're feeling that in the body, but let's drop it right there. We can accept our feelings and thoughts without having to pour gas on the fire by just accepting them, period. Accepting them, non-involvement. Accepting them, non-judgment. You can end the cycle right there. Hey brother, am I late? You are a little late, Sanchez. And I told you last time that you would get sent to detention if you were late one more time. So I got to do it. I gotta do it. What's up, bro? How are you doing? All right, guys. Boom. I'm gonna do that because you know what time it is. You know what time it is. All right. I see it happen all the time. What is up with my colors on my keyboard? I swear that's not how it's supposed to be. Did I press a button or something? It's a really weird color scheme. Happy belated Thanksgiving to you and your close ones, Wonder Bro. Hey, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. How was Turkey Day? Turkey Day was good, dude. I ate like 2 whole plates of food, like stacked on like mountains. And then after that was over, I went back for seconds like 3 times last night. I love the leftovers. I think I like the leftovers more than I do the first go around. I don't know why that is. Anybody agree with me on that? Detention! Detention, Sanchez. What's up, Holds? Dude, how you doing? Sally, thank you so much for the $5 tip, Sally. I truly appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. That helps a ton. Let's run over here to the setup and get that updated. Thank you so much, Sally. Show her some love in the chat, please. Stream MVP, you did use the link in the description, therefore your name will be added to the tip ticker above my head. Thank you so much, Sally. I appreciate you. Hello from the Philippines. What's up, Rodney? How you doing? I like leftovers better too, right? There's something about it. It hits different, dude. It hits different. Guys, you know, we talk about perspective here on the channel. Um, and this could fall under that category. Having a different perspective towards your days where you're feeling a bit anxious, having a different perspective, going from frustration to, okay, let me take advantage of this. My day is starting filled with anxiety, but this is a perfect chance to change my relationship towards my symptoms by allowing them to be, seeing them for what they are, practicing not adding second fear, right? So in this way, when we talk about changing perspective, this could be an example of that. Is it just me or is it cold as shit today? Wonder bro, how to handle strong physical symptom. I know not to add and resist, but is it wait till it passes, or is there any other ways to handle this? So in that question, okay, and I'm not trying to castrate you, but in that question I can already sense a form of resistance, a form of, well, maybe there's a way out of this, right? And just that train of thinking right there is already second fear. Do you see what we're getting at? So when you ask yourself, is there another way? Wonder Bro, is there something you haven't told us? Is there a imaginary, is there a secret or hidden off button somewhere that we can press? Already, already that's a judging of your feelings. That's a resistance of your feelings. That's a fighting of your feelings. Do you see what we're getting at? So acceptance is a matter of allowing yourself to feel your feelings without trying to do anything about them. And you'll start to see that second fear was a huge, huge, huge reason as to why you were suffering. And if you haven't completely dropped second fear yet, because you're still looking for ways out, okay, this is why you suffer. This is why you suffer. So be aware of that, Migs. I'm letting you know because I love you, all right? Be aware of that. You know, we see that all the time too. That's very common. There's still a little resistance there. There's still a little judgment there. So people think, well, maybe there's another way. Maybe there's some other way to make this stop, and that's all just a resistance and a fight in itself. That's all just still a resistance and a fight in itself. What's up, Rita? It's been a while since I've seen you in here. How you doing? Good morning to you, Wonder Bro. How nice to be here with you guys. It's good to have you here, Rita. So we've talked a lot in the past about how behaviors, okay, which is something we haven't talked about in a while, how behaviors showing your brain that there's no real danger with your actions is a good one, and how not getting involved, not adding second fear, obviously, great one. And this is really the two main keys to get on with your day, right? Show your brain with your behaviors that all is well, and not entertain those negative, intrusive thoughts. At the end of the day, this all is pointing towards the same thing, which is to not add second fear. So if you're having a down day, for example, Migs, if you're having a down day, instead of looking for a way out, work with. Instead of looking for a way out, work with. Okay, I feel anxious. What would be a good way to show my brain this is not needed? Get up and do something calmly. I'm not asking you to rush around in a panic trying to make the feelings go away. Accept the feelings. Always. That'll be fundamentally true. Accept the feelings, but work with them. Do something positive today. Do something productive today, even while the feelings are there. Don't do these things as a means to make the feelings end. Do them because you know in time you're showing your brain the truth. So accept the feelings in a loving way while you just work with them. You're not doing these things as a means to an end. You're doing these things as a way to show your brain the truth. So I'm having an anxious day, but I'm getting up and I'm doing things I need to do. I'm doing it in a calm, collected manner, even though my body is, jolting, and even though I'm having negative, intrusive thoughts, I'm still doing things I know I need to do. I'm not entertaining those negative, intrusive thoughts. You see what we're getting at with this. You're doing great, Migs. Just keep it up, dude. That's why I like to, if I notice comments where there's some resistance, I like to let people know about it so they can correct it. Do I get out of the wardrobe? No. You never avoid, Lisa. Never avoid. Okay? If something triggers you, such as opening the wardrobe, which I know very small things can trigger a sensitized person, open that bitch up. Open that bitch up. Okay? And accept your feelings as they come and go. Get on with your life like you normally would. Okay? And as thoughts and feelings come, you don't have to resist them. You don't have to add second fear. Accept them for what they are. Accept them for what they are. Now, you can go about this however you want to go about this, but at the end of the day, anxiety and negative intrusive thoughts, it's all a bluff. It's not who you really are. It's not who you really are. What's up, Will? How you doing, buddy? All right, where's that at? There we go. All right. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Is rating my anxiety and naming my sensations during a panic a form of acceptance? I don't uh I don't know what rating them is really going to do for you. Seems like you're a little bit too focused. But if you're just naming your sensations in a way as well, there's that feeling, but you're not adding second fear. That's fine. I don't see any problem with that. You can focus on your feelings as long as you're not adding second fear to them. That's a great tip, Wonder Bro. More on this subject. Get up, do this when feel anxious. Yes, get up, continue on with your life even if you feel anxious. What's up, man? Another long one, or I'm not really sure. I don't really pre-plan how long the streams are going to go on, to be honest with you. I kind of just wing it. I kind of just wing it, honestly. See, a lot of people have the opposite game plan. So, like, when they're having one of their down days, when they're experiencing those ups and downs, and there's a lot of feelings there, and the negative intrusive thoughts seem to be cranked up even higher this particular day, they do the opposite. They, instead of embracing that, and instead of getting on with their day and not following those negative intrusive thoughts, allowing their feelings to be, and even though they don't exactly feel like getting on with their day and doing certain things, um, you know they tend to shut down. It's like, I'm having a bad day, I'm going to shut down today, I'm going to take it easy, quote unquote easy today. But really, we need to take advantage of those days. Instead, we need to take advantage of those days, be happy for them. Okay, I'm having a rough day, the anxiety is full force today, this is fine. I'm going to show my brain what's up. I'm going to show my brain what's up. Do you have any tips on fidgeting while feeling anxious? I can't sit still to save my life, LMAO. So, one of the very, 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 very common symptoms of anxiety is panic is, of course, fight or flight. So, you may feel the urge to almost run away from the way that you feel, and this is just a symptom of fight or flight. Understand that your brain is trying to save your life and that it's not needed. Okay, just focus on whatever you were doing before the anxiety and panic came. Just get back into your day while you allow those feelings and thoughts to be there. Saving life since 1805. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for watching, man. I appreciate it. So there's no distraction from thought. There doesn't need to be distraction. We are allowing thought and feeling to come, but we're not participating. So a lot of people say, well, I can't stop my thoughts from coming. And we say, that's fine. We're not asking you to. We're asking you to simply not get involved in the thoughts and feelings that come. You can notice them, you can be aware of them, and of course you're going to be aware of them. They're there. But you're no longer involved. So thoughts are there, feelings are there. This is okay. There's no longer judgment, there's no longer involvement. The problem is people are fighting. They're trying to fight the thoughts away. That's not what we're asking you to do. We're asking you to not get involved. They're trying to fight the feelings away. That's not what we're asking you to do. We're asking you to not get involved. Involvement is second fear. Involvement, by trying to fight the feelings or thoughts, by trying to run away from them, whatever it is you do, involvement always comes down to some form of second fear. So, what we're asking you to do is allow the feelings and thoughts to be there, but remain neutral to them. Have no sort of involvement with them. Just carry on with your day. Do whatever it is that you enjoy doing. It doesn't matter as long as you're not getting involved, right? So, we're not trying to ask you to do the impossible. We're asking you to accept the feelings and thoughts that you're aware of while not getting involved. While not getting involved. So there's that feeling. Okay, I'm not going to try to do anything about it. Let's just see what happens. There's that thought. Okay, I'm not going to try to do anything about that. I know it's just a thought. It's not the real me, right? I'm not going to try to do anything about that. So we're not trying to ask you to do the impossible, even though it may seem that way sometimes. We're just trying to ask you to Practice not getting involved with the thoughts and feelings because involvement is some form of second fear. Yeah, involvement is some form of second fear. So you're not trying to do the impossible. You're just taking a back seat. The thoughts and feelings are there. We're not trying to force calm. We're not trying to force peace. We're not trying to force anything. We're not coming. We're not going. We're just okay, not involved with it all. We're just not involved with it all. We're just the silent observer. I love that. The silent observer of our thoughts and feelings. So the feelings are there, the thoughts are there, but I'm getting on with my day anyway. I'm not involved. It's okay if the feelings want to be there. It's okay if the thoughts want to be there. Nothing has to be turned into a problem. It doesn't have to be turned into a problem. It can be noticed. Okay, I can be aware of it. I can accept it for what it is. I'm no longer trying to fight against or push against or pull against. I'm not trying to do anything with it. I'm not involved. I'm not involved. I'm not following the thoughts. I'm not judging the feelings. The thoughts are free to come and go. I'm not involved. The feelings are free to come and go. I'm not involved. I'm not involved. Not involved. This is the key, and I know sometimes it can be a bit tricky. This is a learning process. It feels so natural. It feels so natural to want to get involved. There will never really be a circumstance where getting involved with negative thinking is a good idea. Okay, and that's because the more you get involved with negative thinking, the more it tends to fuel the fire. You don't have to identify with a thought. See, the thing about negative thinking is if you get involved with it, that's just basically telling yourself that I had this thought and I shouldn't have had this thought, and this is the way that I feel. But thoughts have nothing to do with you. Thoughts have nothing to do with you whatsoever. They have nothing to do with you whatsoever. A thought is nothing more than a brain doing what a brain does. You don't judge the legs from getting you from point A to B. You don't judge the arms. You don't judge the hands from picking things up. I didn't pick this up and then started to get involved with my hands and what my hands do. Why'd you do that, hands? Um, so when we get involved with the brain, we're essentially doing that. We are saying that we are responsible for the thoughts that we have, that we shouldn't think that. This is all a form of resistance. This is all a form of judgment. Don't identify with the thoughts that come, and then you will feel no need to fight with them. Don't identify with them, and then it doesn't become a personal problem anymore. Just because I had a thought doesn't mean it's a personal problem. But the moment I get involved is the moment I feel the fire and turn what wasn't a personal problem into a personal problem. Now it's become a personal problem. But the thoughts have nothing to do with you and who you are. The thoughts have nothing to do with you. It's just a function of the brain. It's a brain function. It has nothing to do with who you are as a person. But the moment you get involved, you've made it personal. Don't make it personal. Don't make the thoughts personal. Don't make the feelings personal. None of this is personal. Okay, the thoughts are free to be there. The feelings are free to be there. I'm no longer involved. I'm not making it into a personal problem anymore. It's not a personal problem anymore. It's not something that I need to do anything about because the moment I convince myself that I need to do something about these thoughts and feelings is the moment I start to fight. And it's the moment I start to suffer, right? What's up, Craig? Wonder Bro, I agree with everything you're saying, not getting involved in acceptance, but when I'm out of my comfort zone, I get really nauseous. What can I do, brother? So, there's not really anything that we can tell you in particular to do about feeling nauseous. We're not, of course, we're not going to tell you, well, run home. And of course, we're not, there's nothing we can really tell people to do as far as particular symptoms go. But what we can tell you to do is accept the way you feel. Because it's always futile to do the opposite. Okay, let's say you're nauseous. Well, what good would fighting that feeling be? What good would it do? What would it accomplish? So, although we can't tell you how to make particular symptoms disappear, what we can do is tell you not to fight the way you feel because the more you fight the way you feel, you're in resistance to reality. And to be in resistance to reality is a struggle. It's suffering. It is suffering. So, always, 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 under whatever circumstance, accept the way you feel and work with it rather than trying to work against it. Work with it rather than trying to work against it. Because working against it will always be futile. It doesn't actually accomplish anything. It gets people sick, it gets people worked up, it gets people stressed, right? A lot of time people get way too involved in the inner dialogue. That's all that is. So if you're feeling pain, for example, instead of trying to get to the bottom of it, right? See it for what it is, okay? See it for what it is. It's never a good idea to be in resistance to what is. Now that's not to say if you actually had physical health concerns that we wouldn't just go to the doctor. Yeah, go to the doctor. You know, do practical things. Obviously, I'm not telling you to not be practical, but what I'm telling you is getting involved in a second fear kind of way is going to do nothing for you. That's what I'm telling you. Be practical, obviously, but don't get involved in a second fear kind of way. Getting involved in a second fear kind of way is never a good idea. It doesn't actually accomplish anything. The thought is there whether you like it or not. The feeling is there whether you like it or not. So to be in resistance to that is to just add pain, to just add suffering. Okay? That's all that is. Hey, I appreciate that, King. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream, dude. Exactly. Stop getting caught up on labels, Nisha. Stop getting caught up. Stop confusing yourself. There's no particular way we need to go at this thing. As long as we're not adding second fear, we're healing. And that's why I made that stream the other day. The title of the stream was "As long as you're not involved, you're healing." Because if you're not involved, you can't possibly be adding second fear, right? Let's not question it or overcomplicate it outside of that. Because if you do, you're just sitting around obsessing, and the body, not knowing any better, gets going. Exactly, Kay. Exactly, Kay. I couldn't have said it any better myself. Couldn't said it any better myself. So let's say you're having a rough day, right? Let's say you're having a rough day. Let's say those feelings are there. They're very much present. Let's say those thoughts are coming and going. What do you need to do? Well, instead of overcomplicating it, thinking I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to do that. Let's just not log into any of that. Let's just say and accept the fact, okay, I'm feeling anxious today, or I'm feeling anxious right now. Let's say, okay, I'm experiencing a negative intrusive thought. I accept that. Always be in acceptance of what is. Never be against anything. There's no need to be against anything that you're thinking or feeling, because if you're against it, you're just fueling it. What you resist persists. Who knows that quote? How many of you have heard of that quote? What you resist persists, right? Get curious. Just get curious about your feelings. Sanchez, thank you so much for the $10 tip, dude. Thanks for everything, brother. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Let me get that updated. Let's see here. Right there. Thank you so much, Sanchez, dude. I appreciate you. Let's see. Let's get you added to the stream MVPs. Appreciate you, man. Let's show some love to Sanchez and Sally in the chat, guys. Thank you so much for your contributions. Appreciate it. What's up, Heather? And that's okay, Jen. We want to get to a point where we don't mind what intensifies and what doesn't. We want to get to a point where we're not involved regardless, right? There's no sort of resistance. There's no sort of second fear. And that's really the point that we want to get to. Hello there. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Happy to help. Happy to help. It's extremely easy to get very caught up and to get very involved in your thoughts and feelings, and that's why we need to come at them from a place of being neutral. That's why we need to come at them from a place of being neutral. I'm no longer pushing against, I'm no longer pulling against, I'm just accepting of what is, right? I am just accepting of what is. I'm no longer pushing against, I'm no longer pulling against, I'm just accepting of what is. And, even if that needs to come with a bit of a reminder, don't feel bad about giving yourself reminders. As long as you're not getting so involved in that thinking that it goes on for minutes and hours at a time, that's fine. If you need a quick reminder, that's fine. You can say to yourself, okay, I feel this way, and that's okay. I don't need to try to do anything about it. That's okay. I'm having this thought. That's okay. That's okay. Exactly, Jen. And true acceptance and true surrender does not come from a place of mental activity. It's the opposite of a place of mental activity. True acceptance and true surrender means to drop trying to do anything about it. How do we drop trying to do anything about it? We drop the mental activity. So there's no longer you up in your head trying to sort things out or figure things out. Thoughts are there, that's fine. Negative intrusive thoughts, feelings are there, that's fine too. There's no more trying to figure it out, solve it, fight it, or resist it with mental activity. We dropped that part of the equation. That part of the equation has been dropped. True acceptance, true surrender comes from allowing your feelings and thoughts to be there without mentally getting involved, right? If you need a quick reminder, that's fine. It's okay to feel this way. It's okay to have this thought, but we're dropping involvement at that point. We're putting a big period on it at that point. It's okay to feel this way, then you just get back into life. You drop the mental involvement at that point. It's okay to have this thought, okay? That's fine. Drop the mental involvement at that point, get on with life. So it's really about just getting on with it. Just getting on with it. A quick reminder is fine, but at that point, you need to put a period. Because right now you're way too involved. You're trying to think your way out of this thing, and that's like trying to fight a fire with fire. Absolutely not, Nisha, unless you get too involved, and in that case, yes. So a lot of people try to use their mind as a way to accept their thoughts and feelings. And the problem with that is the mind usually turns this into obsession. The problem with trying to use your mind to accept your thoughts and feelings is that the mind usually turns this into hours of obsession, which is the opposite of acceptance. So true acceptance is not a mental activity. True acceptance is to say it's okay that I feel this way, it's okay that this thought is there, and then drop it, and then drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. This is true acceptance. When you spend too much in the time in the mind, that's usually some sort of struggle. It's some sort of resistance. It's some sort of judgment. It's some sort of trying to solve. It's some sort of fight. So true acceptance is not a mental activity. It's not a mental activity. It's the dropping of the mental activity and allowing your thoughts and feelings to be there, right? For years, guys, for years, I tried to use my mind, okay, as a way to get out, as a way to solve. Um, I used to use my mind as a way to resist, as a way to try to struggle my way out of anxiety and panic and negative intrusive thoughts. This was too much involvement. This was a fuel to the fire. You have to get to the point where you say, here's this feeling. I'm not going to get involved. It's okay to feel this way. There's that thought. I'm not going to get involved. It's okay to think that thought. It's okay that that thought came. I'm not going to get involved. And then it's a big period. It's a big period at the end of that. Mermaid Love, $5 tip. Thank you so much. From Secret Admirer. I know exactly who you are. Okay, I'm, I'm not gonna put you on blast, but the name gave it away. The name gave it away. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Let's get that updated. Thank you for that. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. Thank you. All right. So resistance creates pain. Absolutely. 110%. 110%. Thank you so much for that. Mermaid Sanchez, Sally, thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Great stream. Thank you, Facepaint. It's good to see you. How are you doing? You helped me overcome anxiety since I was 8 years old. This year, 2020, I have conquered anxiety. Damn right, it can be cured, not just managed. Acceptance is key, just like Claire Weeks said. Exactly. That is so good to hear. Been suffering with anxiety since 8 years old and can honestly sit back and say, I'm a cured man. That is great. Congratulations. Keep it up. Keep it up. True acceptance, okay. The problem with it for a lot of people is that they try to use the mind to figure out what true acceptance is, which just leads to running in mental circles, which just leads to frustration and aggravation. True acceptance is just to drop it all, man. Drop it all. Stop trying to do anything about the feelings. Stop trying to do anything about the thoughts. Just drop it all. Accept what comes without getting involved. Accept what comes without getting involved. So, you know, people are like, well, what's a good mantra to use? If I'm going to use a mantra, what's a good mantra? So, if you have a thought that comes, you can simply remind yourself, I don't have to get involved with that. If you have a feeling that comes, you can simply remind yourself, I don't have to try to do anything about that. I don't have to get involved. That can be your mantra. I don't have to get involved. Thoughts come, okay, you notice them, that's fine. You can be there if you want to be there. I'm not getting involved. Feelings come, you can notice them, that's fine. I'm not getting involved. It's a mental involvement. I'm not getting involved mentally with any of this anymore. Okay, even in those moments where it feels so right to get involved, I'm telling you, your involvement is just fuel to the fire. That's all that's going to accomplish is just fuel to the fire. Exactly, King. But if you're sitting around trying to accept in hopes that the feelings are going to go away, this is some sort of mental resistance, right? True acceptance is to say, okay, I feel the way I feel. I'm not going to try to do anything about it. I had that thought. I'm not going to try to do anything about it. Right? Just get on with life. This is true acceptance. If you're accepting in a way that you're still talking to yourself, well, I'm accepting. When is this feeling going to go away? This is already a form of resistance. This is already a form of resistance. So no matter what you feel, just accept exactly. Resistance creates pain. Resistance creates pain. Resistance creates pain. Sounds strange, like I was freezing all the time. I'm very sleepier, like I have a head cold, like everything back to normal, eyes adjusting back. It can be, it's a very gradual change from sensitized to desensitized. It doesn't normally happen very quickly. It's a very gradual change, so you feel like you're getting back to yourself again. Things are starting to adjust back to normal. This can be a very gradual process. Don't overcomplicate it, don't overthink it, right? Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. Just come back to the moment. Come back to reality. There's no need to get involved in the mental stuff. The mental stuff is where fighting and resistance is born, right? And there's no need to get involved in all that. So I'm feeling a certain feeling, but my focus remains in reality. Okay, I'm not getting involved with it mentally. There's that thought, but my focus remains in reality. I'm letting thoughts and feelings come and go as they please, but I'm no longer mentally getting involved with them, right? I'm no longer mentally getting involved with them. Oh, stretch. The real me. Feels good. Feels good. It's a process. It's a process. What's up, Brady? How you doing, man? I have self-criticism about me and everything that I do because you're too identified with the mind. Self-criticism about everything that you do comes from mental thoughts. It comes from a inner dialogue. It comes from a judgment from the mind. So, too involved with the mind, not involved enough with just life. So, as these thoughts come and go, let them come and go. As these feelings come and go, let them come and go. But there's no longer an involvement mentally. There's no longer an involvement mentally. So self-criticism, where does this come from? It comes from too much mental involvement. So what we're asking you to do, whether it be with self-criticism or whether it be with anxiety, whether it be with symptoms, whether it be with negative intrusive thoughts, we're asking you to not mentally get involved with these things, to drop the inner dialogue, right? To drop the inner dialogue. Thoughts and feelings come and go as they please. There's no longer an inner resistance. Okay, and where does inner resistance come from? The inner dialogue. From you starting to talk to yourself about the way that you feel and about the thoughts that come and go. We're no longer talking to ourselves about the way that we feel and the thoughts that come and go. We're just letting them be, right? That inner talking, that inner dialogue, that'll have you down the rabbit hole of obsession in no time. That'll have you overcomplicating these feelings and thoughts in no time. That'll have you turning these thoughts and feelings into a problem in no time. And that's why we drop the inner dialogue. Now, some people say, well, it's easy to do that sometimes, but then when the feelings are really strong, that's when I have trouble dropping the inner dialogue. Okay, when those thoughts and feelings become very strong, that's when I have trouble dropping the inner dialogue, and I just feel so compelled to get involved. Well, this is when it's going to matter the most. This is when the practice is going to matter the most. And a good way to do that, if those feelings and thoughts are very, very strong and you're having trouble dropping that inner dialogue and just letting those thoughts and feelings be, a good way to do that is you can even allow yourself to focus on the feelings so intensely that you don't have the inner dialogue, that you're not as compelled to add the inner dialogue, right? What can replace overthinking? Brain has to think something. Let it focus on the moment. I'm glad you made that comment. So people say the brain has to think of something. Well, give it a job. Give it a job. Right now, you've given it the job of commentating your thoughts and feelings and being involved with the thoughts. Give it a different job. Give it a different job. Instead of giving it the job of trying to be the commentator of your thoughts and feelings, put your focus on the moment. Now the brain is focused on the moment. You've given a job to what we call the monkey mind, right? So right now you've given it a very destructive job. But let's give it a different job. So as you accept the thoughts and feelings, okay, and you know that you don't want to get involved mentally because that is second fear, what can you give the brain to do then? If the brain is no longer getting involved mentally with the thoughts and feelings, what else can it do? Give it a job. Tell it to focus on the moment and then put your attention and your focus on what you're doing. And as thoughts and feelings come, you come back to your job. As thoughts and feelings come, you're focused on something else. You're no longer getting involved mentally with the thoughts and feelings. The thoughts and feelings come, but you've given a new job to the brain. The new job is to focus on the moment. So pick a sound that's around you, put the focus there, and as thoughts and feelings come, you can notice them, and of course you will, but you go back to the job. You go back to focusing on the moment. You go back to focusing on reality. We call this the present moment. So the advice is to not mentally get involved with the thoughts and feelings. And how you choose to go about doing that is up to you. I like to focus on the present moment. I like to not get involved with thoughts as they come and go by focusing on the present moment. Give a job to your mind. Give a job to your mind. Give a job to your brain, right? Give a job to your brain. So instead of being so involved with the thoughts and feelings, you allow the thoughts and feelings to come, but you're rooted in reality. Your attention is on something else. It's no longer on the thoughts and feelings. You accept the thoughts and feelings as they come and go, but you're no longer involved. You've got the attention on something else, right? And as these thoughts and feelings come, they might beg for your attention. That's fine. Just accept the thoughts and feelings for what they are, but you're no longer getting involved. You're going back to whatever it is you were doing beforehand, right? Hey, Wonder Bro, is the anxiety symptoms real? Yes, you feel them. They are real. The symptoms of anxiety, the physical symptoms of anxiety, they're real. They're not imaginary. Your heart does beat faster. You do get adrenaline. You do get this energy. They are real symptoms. They're not completely imaginary. But the problem is we attach imaginary stories to them. We attach imaginary horror stories to them, and that's the problem. So, to be present, to allow your thoughts and feelings to be there, right, without attaching these stories to them, that is key, because these stories are second fear. These stories are second fear. Oh, I just dropped my phone. So, we can word this a million different ways, and we tend to do that just so more and more people can understand what we're saying. But at the end of the day, all it really comes down to is allowing your thoughts and feelings to be there without mentally getting involved with them, right? Without mentally getting involved with them. And this is why we love the present moment so much, because people say, well, I get it. I'm not supposed to mentally get involved with my thoughts. I'm supposed to leave them alone. I'm not supposed to mentally get involved with my feelings. I'm supposed to leave them alone. But I can't break the damn habit. I can't break the damn habit. Well, that's when we say, well, maybe practice living in the present moment. Pick a sound that's around you. Pick something that's in reality and focus there. Focus there. This is grounding, right? You can even focus on your feelings as long as you're not mentally getting involved. So you can put your focus wherever you want your focus to be, as long as it's leading to not mentally getting involved with the thoughts and feelings that come and go. I compare myself with others, which I hate, and I tell myself you're bad. Start focusing on things, on good things in your life. Yeah, way too much mental involvement. See? Sanchez, my advice would remain the same to you. Too much mental involvement. Allow those thoughts and feelings to be there. Drop the mental involvement. To be in resistance to what is simply means that you're experiencing feelings, but mentally you are judging. Mentally you are fighting. Same with negative intrusive thoughts. You experience these thoughts, but mentally you start judging. Mentally you start fighting. This is resistance to what is. This is fighting. This is resistance. I've never studied that method. I've never studied that method. Um, but I will tell you this, no matter what you do, okay, if you are mentally involved with your thoughts and feelings, you are resisting, you are fighting. You ever seen a tree? How many people here in the chat have seen a tree? I'm sure you've all seen a tree at one point or another. You've seen a tree, right? There's a tree. What does a tree do? No matter what the season is, whether it's spring or fall or winter, the tree's there, right? It doesn't judge the weather. It doesn't uproot itself and say, well, this winter shit's really getting old. I'm packing my bags and I'm moving to the other side of the country. A tree doesn't do that. No matter the weather, whether it be, you know, 6 foot of snow, whether it be stormy and rainy, whether it be a beautiful summer day, a tree remains rooted. It's not judging the weather. It's not mentally involved with the weather. It's just rooted. Okay, and that's what we want you to do. No matter the thoughts that come and go, you're just rooted. You don't have an opinion. No matter the feelings that come and go, you're just rooted. You don't try to get up and pack your bags. Okay? There's no sort of mental judgment. It's just what is. I accept what is. I accept what is. I accept what is. And if you live this way, you're not adding second fear. There's no way you could be. Because second fear comes from some sort of mental involvement. So there's no way you could be adding second fear if you remain rooted. Remaining neutral to the thoughts and feelings. There's no way you could be adding second fear if you remain rooted and have no opinion on the thoughts and feelings. Okay? And a good way to do this is to just have a simple reminder to yourself when thoughts and feelings are there that normally you would resist against. Just remind yourself this is okay. This is okay. Get back into whatever it is you were doing. This is okay. I don't have an opinion, right? I don't have an opinion. I'm rooted in reality. I'm rooted in reality. I'm not going to get involved mentally. I'm rooted in reality. I'm not going to get involved mentally. And this means to be quiet. This means to allow the thoughts and feelings there while you have no sort of opinion, while you don't get involved mentally. So there's that feeling. I'm not going to commentate it. I'm not going to get involved mentally. There's that thought. I'm not going to commentate it. I'm not going to get involved mentally. So really, if you want to make this as simple as possible, everything that we've talked about this entire stream, if you want to make it and put it as simple as possible, acceptance is about allowing your thoughts and feelings while you shut the fuck up. Okay? And that's not saying we're not trying to tell the thoughts to shut the fuck up. The thoughts and feelings can come as often as they'd like, but you yourself shut the fuck up. Okay? Feelings are there, shut the fuck up. Thoughts are there, remind yourself to shut the fuck up. We're allowing thoughts and feelings to come and go as they please while we ourselves shut up. Okay? And that's putting it as bluntly and as simply as possible. Okay, we can call it the present moment, we can call it floating, we can call it acceptance, we can call it, you know, whatever you want to call it. Um, let's see. But when you signed up and subscribed to my channel, okay, you seen this big broody guy with the beard and the face tats and shit. You should have known that at some point I was going to put it even more simple than floating and acceptance and the present moment. You should have known I was going to eventually tell you at some point you just have to shut the fuck up. You really do, because the problem is, okay, these thoughts come, these feelings come, and you start yapping. And the moment you start yapping, you get yourself so far down this rabbit hole that you just can't see the light anymore. You resist, you fuel the fire, you fight, you fight, you fight. This is all done mentally by talking. Maybe you're even talking out loud. I don't care. Um, if you are involved in some way or another with this inner dialogue, okay, then there is resistance there. There's an overcomplication there. There is a fight there. There is a resistance there. There is a judgment there. There is fuel to the fire. There is second fear. So when Eckhart Tolle tells you, okay, be more present to the moment, when Dr. Claire Weeks tells you float, when Moji says be the silent observer, the silent watcher, okay, when all of these great spiritual teachers tell you this thing, they're telling you the same thing I'm telling you. When Wonder Bro tells you to shut the fuck up, it's the same thing as saying float. It's the same thing as saying be more present to the moment. It's the same thing as saying be the silent watcher. Why do you think he says silent watcher? The silent part is just a nod at shut the fuck up. And we're not telling the thoughts to shut up. We're telling ourselves to shut up. Thoughts and feelings can come and go as they please while we shut up. Just shut up. Okay, because the moment you get involved mentally is the moment you start to resist. It's the moment you start to judge. It's the moment you start to fight. So be silent. Okay, I'll put it a little bit more PG-13. Be silent. Be silent. Thoughts are there. Thoughts come and go all the time. Feelings are there. Feelings come and go all the time. Don't log in. That's the way Moji puts it. Don't log in, okay? And when he says don't log in, he's also telling you to shut up, okay? Basically, if we break down all of these great teachers and what they're trying to tell you to do, they're telling you to shut up. They are telling you that you, as the conscious observer of these thoughts and feelings, need to shut up. That's all they're trying to tell you to do. That's all they're trying to tell you to do. Of course, they can't tell it to you like that. It wouldn't make sense with their whole, with the way they present themselves. But I can tell it to you like that. Just shut up. Okay, so Thoughts are there. Shut up. You just remind yourself to shut up. Thoughts can come and go as they please. Feelings are there. Shut up. You remind yourself feelings can come and go as they please. Just shut up. Okay? Shush. Don't get involved. Shush. Shut up. So you're accepting thoughts and feelings without getting involved mentally, because getting involved mentally, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. You're just fighting, 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 resisting, judging. Okay? And all of these great spiritual teachers and all of these great coaches, they're all telling you the same thing. At the end of the day, it all means the same thing. Shut up. Stop talking to yourself about your thoughts and feelings, because you're just getting more and more confused. You're overcomplicating this thing. You're falling further and further down this rabbit hole. You're resisting, you're judging, you're labeling, you're fighting, you're fighting, you're fighting. Okay, so no matter whose work you want to look at, they're all telling you the same thing, which is shut up. Feelings are there, okay, shut up. Thoughts are there, okay, shut up. Okay, because the moment you get involved with all this questioning, all of this mental dialogue, all of this mental interpretation, you're already lost. You're lost. You're falling down this rabbit hole of resisting, judging, labeling, fighting, 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 fighting. The moment you get involved with this inner dialogue towards your thoughts and feelings is the moment that you have logged in, as Moji likes to call it, right? So that's the problem. That is the problem. You're not allowing yourself to feel your feelings while being quiet. You're not allowing yourself to have thoughts and thoughts come and go while you remain quiet. You're getting far too involved. You're getting far too involved. Okay? You're getting far, far, far too involved. It's time to be quiet. It's time to be quiet and let the body do what the body does. It's time to be quiet and let the thoughts come and go as they please. It's time to turn off involvement. It's time to turn off involvement. How do you turn off involvement? Because we know involvement is always some sort of second fear. So, how do you turn off involvement? By shutting up. And a lot of people have trouble shutting up. The feelings are there and immediately it's yep, 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 yep. The thoughts are there and immediately it's yep, 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 yep. And the whole time they're just falling further and further and further and further down this rabbit hole. Okay? And there's no end to this as long as you continue to yep, 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 yep. For years, I myself would not shut up. Okay? I would have a feeling. There would be a feeling there. Immediately, I'm on Google. I'm talking to myself. Okay, how do I make this go away? What do I need to do? Type in, okay, miracle cures for anxiety. Okay, for $4.99, I can buy this bottle of fucking fairy blood, right? It's just yep, 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 the whole way through. You feel a feeling and you immediately start talking to yourself. You get yourself in trouble. You add second fear. All right? You're creating suffering. Okay? Thoughts come, you immediately start talking to yourself. Well, why did I have that thought? Or what can I do to make that thought go away? And before you know it, 2 hours later, you've done fueled this thing to where it's so loud you can barely hear yourself. The whole time. Why do we say yapping to yourself is a bad thing? Why can I prove that? How can I prove that the reason you are not healing is because you won't shut up? How can I prove that? Well, it comes down to one simple fact. The brain, the body, okay, and this is proven, the body does not know the difference between a negative train of thought and a real danger. So when you experience a feeling or have a thought and you start yapping and giving fuel to these thoughts and giving fuel to this negative inner dialogue, what do you think's happening to the body? If the body does not know the difference between a real threat or a real danger and negative inner dialogue, the body does not know the difference between the two. Okay? If that's true, which we know it is, what do you think's happening to the body the moment you start yapping and entertaining all of this negative inner dialogue? The body is taking a beating. It's taking a beating. It doesn't know any better. So this is how we know that the key to healing is understanding that fact and then starting to be quiet. Starting to be quiet. Thoughts and feelings are there. We're going to start being quiet, right? We're going to start being quiet. Well, that turned into a long rant. That turned into a long rant. See, and I've got it pulled up right here because I know I have some non-believers. I know how I have a lot of skeptic people here on the channel. So I got it pulled up right here just so I can ease your mind. So you don't have to just take it from me. Okay. Eckhart Tolle talks about how the body doesn't know the difference between a real threat and your imagination. So when you get involved with the negative inner dialogue, what do you think's happening in the body? Why do you think people stay stuck in this cycle? And why do you think I'm telling you to do the opposite? Okay. But I've got it pulled up right here. Um, let's see. Okay, this is from David R. Hamilton, PhD. I don't know who that is, but if you don't want to just take it from me, if you want to take it from a doctor, here you go. Your brain doesn't distinguish real from imaginary. Okay, and let's go on and let's point out some key things in this article. Again, I don't know who this guy is, but if you want to hear it from a doctor, here you go. I got a doctor pulled up right here for you. Let's see. You can clearly see, okay, and they discovered this through brain scans. This is very obvious. You can clearly see that the changes in the brain in those who imagine playing piano are the same as those who are actually playing piano. Your brain doesn't distinguish real from imaginary. It's pretty obvious when you think about it. The stress response evolved in humans to give us the ability to fight or flee when faced with danger. Chemicals, including adrenaline, help kickstart the body, pushing blood towards the major muscles to give you strength. But the exact same stress response kicks in when you imagine danger, also producing adrenaline and pushing blood around the body. The same chemistry is produced regardless of whether the danger is real or imagined. Now, this was proven, and this has been proven for years. Okay, this is not some sort of great secret. We've known this. So, why do you think I'm telling you to stop telling yourself horror stories? Why do you think I'm telling you to drop the fight? Why do you think I'm telling you to shut up and to be silent and to let your thoughts and feelings come? Because of that right there. Because the moment that you start to introduce horror stories, the moment that you start to get involved mentally and start yapping, which I did for years, okay, is the moment you start to signal to the body that these things are real threats because the body doesn't know any better. You yapping to yourself with this negative inner dialogue is the same thing as me bringing a fucking tiger and sitting it in your lap. As far as the brain is concerned, there's no difference. There's no difference between you yapping to yourself negatively and fighting as there is for me to pull a tiger into the room with you. To the body, it's the same thing. So, what do you think your body is going through, and why do you think you're not healing from a state of sensitized nerves when you're constantly putting your nerves under what it believes to be a real threat? Why do you think you're not healing when you're constantly putting your nerves under the same sort of real danger? It doesn't know any better, day in and day out, by having too much negative inner dialogue. Why do you think that happens? It's obvious. It's obvious when we know that one little fact, and it's easy to forget that one little fact. And that's why I like to remind people of it so much because it makes everything so clear. I'm not healing. Why am I not healing? Well, my body doesn't know the difference between a real threat and my negative inner dialogue. Well, shit, it's no wonder when I entertain and fuel these negative thoughts. It's no wonder my body's taking a beating. It doesn't know the difference between a real threat and me fueling these negative thoughts. When I judge my feelings in a negative way and have all these horror stories, my body doesn't know the difference between that and a real danger. So it's no wonder that I'm not healing. It's no wonder. And, I like to point that little fact out there because people tend to question everything that they hear. They hear me say, well, stop telling yourself horror stories. And then they want to know, well, why does that work? Why does me shutting up heal my body? Well, that's why. That's why. And that's not me telling you that. That was something I just read from some doctor's website. Okay, this is not a secret. You can do one quick Google search and find this for yourself. This is a very well known fact about the brain. So, when I tell you to stop fueling negative intrusive thoughts so that they'll lose their fuel, it's because the more you entertain them, the more the body is going to think that's a real danger. When I tell you to allow your feelings to be without negatively getting involved in your mental dialogue, that's because the body doesn't know the difference between that and a real danger. So what do you think that's doing to your nervous system? What do you think that's doing to your nervous system? And now you see, and now you hopefully understand why I tell people to shut up. I hope you see that now. I hope you understand why that's the backbone to everything that we teach because of that one fact about the brain. And I hope that makes sense now, and I hope you can realize this is why you're not healing. This is why I recommend shutting up. Um, this is not something I just came up with myself. This is not something I just pulled out of my ass. Um, this comes back to a very well known and well discovered fact about the brain. The brain does not know the difference, and you get the exact same stress response. The exact same stress response kicks in when you imagine danger. The exact same stress response kicks in when you imagine danger and when you experience a real danger. So when you sit around in your room entertaining negative thoughts and having a very negative inner dialogue with yourself, you might as well be in a cave with a bear, because as far as the body's concerned, it doesn't know the difference. You might as well wrestle a bear if you're going to entertain negative thoughts. You might as well wrestle a bear if you're going to have a negative inner dialogue, because to the body it's the same thing. All right? To the body it's the same thing. That's it. To the body it's the same thing. Yeah, I can still see chat, but when I get going on a rant, I don't read chat. I'm too focused. That's all it is. I can still see chat. Don't worry, guys. I can see chat. I appreciate that face paint. Your rants are so good. They go on for hours sometimes. It's just because I want people to understand why this works. I want people to get it, and I want people to dedicate to it. Yeah, exactly, Holds. Exactly, exactly. So it comes down to that, guys. It comes down to that. If the body does not know the difference between imagination and a real danger, what do you think you're doing to your nerves every time you sit around and entertain a negative dialogue or entertain negative intrusive thoughts? What do you think's happening to your nerves if the body doesn't know the difference? Somebody answer that in chat. It's time for a Q&A where I'm asking the questions and you're giving the answers. So, if you're in chat right now, I want you to participate, okay? I want you to participate. What is, if the body doesn't know the difference between a real danger and your imagination, what is happening to your nerves as you sit and entertain negative dialogue? Chat's not frozen on stream. Chat's not frozen on stream. I think they might need to refresh. I don't know. You guys can hear me, right? Can everybody hear me? Is everybody caught up with me? Testing, testing. Are you guys talking about the chat on my end or the chat on screen? Because if you're talking about chat on screen, yeah, I think that's frozen. Hold on. Sometimes you just got to refresh it. Holy shit. Holy shit. Chat was definitely frozen on screen. Now I see what you guys are talking about. I thought you meant for me. I thought you meant for me. I was like, no, I can see your comments. I'm replying to them. I was so confused. I was like, what is going on? Okay, there we go. I fixed it. I fixed it. Become sensitized even more, making our nerves sensitized. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So, if your body does not know the difference between imaginary and a real threat, and you're sitting around entertaining negative thoughts and having a negative inner dialogue with yourself, what do you think the result of that is going to be? You got it absolutely right, chat. Your nerves become even more tired because they're taking a constant beating. Look at it like this. If you're sitting around entertaining negative thoughts or having a negative inner dialogue with yourself, you might as well put your body through the same stress as fighting a mountain lion every single day. That's what your body is essentially going to. Look at it that way. If the body does not know the difference between imagination and a real threat, your poor body is having to deal with the stress of fighting a fucking mountain lion every single day. And then you ask yourself why you experience symptoms. You ask yourself why your nerves can't catch a break. You ask yourself why you're not healing. Well, if you're entertaining negative, intrusive thoughts every day, if you're having a negative dialogue with yourself every day, and the body doesn't know the difference between imagination and a real threat, your body is essentially having to deal with the stress of fighting mountain lions every single day. Might as well be. Now, does it all make sense? Now, do you understand why your poor, poor body has dealt with this and this has been going on for so long? Now does it make sense why your body can't feel at peace? Now does it make sense why your nerves can't catch a break and why you've been in this cycle for so long? If entertaining negative intrusive thoughts and having a negative inner dialogue is the same as making your poor body fight mountain lions every single day, does it make sense now? You see what we're getting at? We want you to understand why we're telling you to shut up. We want you to understand why we are telling you that you have to stop fueling the negative thoughts and why you have to stop telling yourself horror stories. We want you to understand why that is so important because we want you to get motivated. And by knowing that little fact, even though we've said it 100 times here on the channel, I still feel like there's some people that don't quite take that little fact to heart. But you need to really start taking it to heart. You need to really start taking it to heart. You do, because it's a fact. It's a fact. It's a cold-blooded fact. And there's no way around that fact. That's how the body works. That's how the body works. Same goes for feelings, right? Don't tell yourself horror stories about the feelings, because no matter what you're telling yourself a horror story about, you're going to get the same result, because the body doesn't know any better. I often think I have child behavior, not behaving as a matured adult, like reacting for everything, and I take it some family, something has to be addressed. How do I handle this? Stop trying to address things. Stop trying to address things. The problem is, we sit around and we try to address things, and what happens? In trying to address things, instead of just accepting the way things are at the moment, okay, we get far too involved. We get far too involved. And what happens? We get far too involved and we get ourselves worked up with all this negative inner dialogue. And as, let's go back to the fact that we were just talking about. What do you think happens to the body at that point? So you can blame it on childhood trauma. You can blame it on, I've got behavioral issues, whatever you want to blame it on. But at the end of the day, if you're worried about healing your sensitized nerves, it's time to drop the story. It's time to drop the story because the body doesn't know the difference between a story and a real threat. So, whatever you want to blame it on, whether you want to say I have childhood trauma that needs to be solved, yada, 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 in my opinion, in my humble opinion, knowing what we know about the body and how the body reacts to negative inner dialogue, it's as simple as knowing that fact and shutting up at that point. Okay? Because again, if the body doesn't know the difference between negative inner dialogue and negative thoughts that you entertain and a real threat, why do you think it can't catch a break? Why do you think it can't heal? Right? So you can feel free to do whatever you want to do. You can feel free to overcomplicate it if you would like. You could feel free to listen to my advice or tell me to shove it up my ass. It doesn't matter. That fact is never going anywhere. Whether you believe what I have to say or whether you want to use what I have to say or not, that simple fact that we know about the brain, that's not changing. Whether you want to listen to what I have to say or not, that fact's not going anywhere. I hate to break it to you. So when we know that fact and when we know that about the body, you can take what you want to take at that point, but that fact doesn't come from me. That's just proven. So there you go. Yeah, exactly, Holds. I agree. Um, Man, I can't say it enough. Thank you and seriously love you, bro. Much love going right back at you. How do you handle health anxiety when you have chronic illness? So, if you have some sort of illness that you're dealing with, whatever the case may be, we will always tell you that that fact remains true. Whether you have a chronic illness, whether you're dealing with this, whether you're dealing with this stressful life situation or that stressful life situation, that fact remains true. Whether you like it or not, that fact remains true. And we want you to understand that fact because we want to help you, obviously. We want you to keep that fact, okay, close to your heart. so that you realize that it's never worth getting involved in negative inner dialogue. Whether you're dealing with a chronic illness, whether you're dealing with a terrible life situation, we want you to keep that fact close to your heart, because it doesn't matter what the situation might be, that fact remains true. It's not going anywhere. No matter what your situation might be, like I said, chronic illness or not, that fact remains true. It's not going anywhere, no matter what your situation is. So we want you to keep that close to your heart so that you can be motivated to drop the inner dialogue. Because no matter the situation, that fact remains true. And that's what we want you to understand. No matter what it is you're dealing with, that fact remains true. Keep it with you as your motivation to drop the bad habit of negative inner dialogue, right? Wonder Bro, is danger going to happen? So there's a huge difference between fear and danger. Right now, obviously the body doesn't know the difference between fear and danger. It's all danger to the body. But in reality, if there is a danger to solve, you would be too busy solving it to be worried about anxiety. So if danger ever comes into your life, something that wants to cause you physical harm or try to take your life away from you, you will handle it. You will do your best to handle it. You will do your best to solve the danger. But fear is all a mental fiction. We know fear is a mental fiction, the body doesn't. Drop the story, we change as we get older is inevitable, and we grow, we become more mature, and we get responsibility. There's no need to overthink this. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There is no need to overthink this thing. So, you might say, well, I've got a lot of childish behaviors that I would like to address. That's fine. Growing as a person, I'm not going to put you down for that. That's great. Growing as a person, picking up positive habits, maybe you're switching up your diet, maybe you're starting to exercise more. These are all great things. This is all great things for your life. It's good to improve as a human being. It's good to have self growth as a human being. But we're talking about the nerves here. Okay? All this other stuff is a nice bonus. It's icing on the cake, so to speak. But we're talking about the nerves here. As far as the nerves are concerned, sitting around and wondering and worrying, keyword worrying, about this and about that and about my childhood and about what I should do this and that, it's all chalked up as the body as a real danger when you do that. And that's why you're not healing. Because again, that fact will always remain true. Okay? So, all of these things are great. If you want to self improve as a person, go for it. I'm rooting for you. But if you're sitting around entertaining all of this negative inner dialogue, what do you think that's doing, okay, to the nerves if we know that fact to be true? What do you think that's doing to the nerves? So, my childhood was crap and horrible, and I never became sensitized because I wasn't in my head about it. Exactly. A stupid migraine with a drooping eye sent me to the ER. Fear caused me desensitized. So, exactly. Yeah, as far as fear and anxiety goes, you're not in any real danger. Just because the body doesn't know the difference between a real danger and your imagination doesn't mean you're actually in danger. It's just that the body is going to respond that way. And that's why you're anxious. That's why you're sensitized. Has all your symptoms permanently gone, Wonder Bro? Yes, I am no longer sensitized. I am desensitized. As a human being, though, and I always point this out because it's so important, as a human being, whether you desensitize 1,000 times over, you're going to have negative thoughts come from time to time. They're not going to cause a reaction like they would for a sensitized person, and you're not going to experience quite as many like a sensitized person would. Okay, you're healed. But as a human being, sensitized or not, you are going to encounter negative thoughts in your life. And that's why we recommend taking the tools that you learn from this channel with you no matter where you go. No matter where you go, right? So every day, if I have a negative thought, I still use the same tools. I don't involve with that because I know that my body doesn't know the difference. So I'm not going to fuel that. There's no way I'm going to fuel that if I know that my body's going to chalk that up as being in a fight with a fucking cougar, right? I'm not going to fuel that regardless. And as a human being, I'm always going to have negative thoughts from time to time. I'm not in a sensitized body anymore, but still, knowing what I know to be true, I'm going to use these tools for the rest of my life. And that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing that you have these tools now. That is a great thing. That is a great thing. So some people are under this false illusion that once they heal, okay? Once they heal, that they'll never experience another negative thought again. And this is simply not true. As a human being, you will. And that's why I recommend using these tools for the rest of your life, non-involvement acceptance, because of what we know to be true about the body. So just because you're desensitized doesn't mean you're not going to have negative thoughts. Continue using these tools for the rest of your life. These are beautiful things to have at your disposal. Sensitized or not, these are beautiful understandings to have. These are beautiful understandings to have. I truly love you for giving us more clarity and keeping things simple. I try to keep things simple, right? And I try to keep things direct. And it normally always comes back to the fact that we just read over. It really all does come back to that. And I try to be as straightforward about that as possible because there's really no need to overcomplicate things. When you start to overcomplicate things, what happens? You start to get involved in this negative obsession. And when you get involved in this negative obsession, because of that fact that we just read over, you start to experience more anxiety. So there's really no reasonable reason as to why people should overcomplicate this thing, and I don't know why so many people do. Let's see. Let's see. I was gonna try to grab this link for you guys. But I shook it off and let it go, and it passed and never thought about it again. That's awesome, Holds. I wonder how many people suffer in this world. Probably more than people are willing to admit. Probably more than people are willing to admit, honestly. So, because of that little fact that we went over, do you see why no sort of mental involvement's worth it? Do you see why no sort of negative mental involvement over your thoughts and feelings will ever be worth it because the body doesn't know that difference? Do you see why? That it's never worth it? After you got desensitized, have you ever gotten any panic attacks? I made a video on that once where feelings of panic tried to approach me after I was desensitized and had started the channel. This was about 3 years ago. And this is the only time that's ever really happened, so it's quite interesting. It was about, I want to say, a year after I started the channel, and in the video I go on to explain how even though those feelings were there, because of what I knew, it was not a problem. It was the equivalent of getting bit by a bug. It was a slight annoyance, but it was not a problem. So, but yeah, this has been years ago. Years ago. I don't know what the name of that video is. Not like you're feeling now, Brady, unless you fall back into the same bad habits, aka second fear, that put you here to begin with. No, you're not going to return to a sensitized place. Is it possible to resensitize? Absolutely. You put yourself there once, you can put yourself there again, but only if you just say, well, fuck everything Wonderbro ever said, I'm going right back to my bad old habits. If you do that, then yeah, it's possible. But if you stick to not entertaining negative thoughts and not having that negative inner dialogue with yourself, then no, it's not possible. So I don't know why anyone would ever just piss the advice away. That's the only way you could possibly resensitize yourself. And of course, I wouldn't think that anybody would do that. Eckhart Tolle said it best: when you no longer create a problem, there is no fear. Exactly, nailed it. We are a beautiful Wonder Bro family. I agree. I love my community here. So yeah, there's a chance you'll encounter some sensations, some feelings after you've desensitized, sure. But as long as you just don't piss the advice away, you'll be fine. It won't turn into an issue. It won't be a problem. You won't be phased by it. It won't touch you. So that's the thing, guys. As long as you hold that little fact that we just read for the stream, as long as you hold that fact close to your heart and don't pick up those bad habits again, you'll be fine. Nothing can touch you at that point. Nothing can touch you at that point. What are some things you do regularly to keep you from being sensitized again, Wonder Bro? That's the thing. Once you move on with life, bro, you're not sitting around thinking about will I ever be sensitized again, because that in itself is a negative thought that's going to trigger the body into thinking there's something wrong. So once you desensitize, you move on with life. You're not sitting around thinking, well, how can I keep myself from ever being sensitized again? Because if you're thinking that way, you're already introducing negative thinking to the body that doesn't know any better. Do you see what we're getting at? So to truly heal means to stop asking those questions, to stop entertaining that sort of thinking, because that in itself is a sort of thinking that the body's not going to know any better, and it's going to take that as some sort of threat, and you're going to slowly start to get these sensations again. So, I mean, it takes time for a body to sensitize. You would have to do that, and you would have to turn up that intensity and hold that for a very long time to break your body down again. But you get what I'm getting at. You move on with life. You're not asking questions like that. You're not entertaining thoughts like that. You're not getting involved with any sort of thinking like that, because you know that's the problem. That's the problem. To a body that doesn't know the difference between a negative thought and a real threat, if I sat around and and scared myself to death with questions about being sensitized again, of course my body's going to react because of that fact. So healing's about moving on from those sort of questions, moving on about that sort of inner dialogue because of that fact. So if you're sitting around entertaining those sorts of thoughts and that sort of thinking, well, you're still adding second fear. That's still a good sign that you're adding a lot of second fear. Because how do you think the body's going to look at that? That is tight, bro. I got to get rid of that for a minute. Why is that so tight? Oh, this is the one that I haven't broke out yet. I've got two red caps, and this is the one that's pretty much brand new. No wonder. No wonder. Look at this big red line across my forehead. This has been probably one of the best streams that we have done as far as recovery goes. Um, Thank you, Sarah, for subscribing. I've got to change that. It's still a Halloween GIF. I've got to change that. This is probably one of the best streams that we've done as far as anxiety recovery goes. But tomorrow or next time we stream, I'm probably going to do a stream completely focused on that one fact that we were talking about, because it is so damn important. It is the backbone of recovery. So I'm probably going to do my next stream completely focused on that article, because it really is, like I said, the backbone of recovery. Understanding that is the difference and can make the difference between recovering and not recovering, because it serves as such a big motivator. It serves as such a big motivator. So next stream, I'll probably focus on that article. But still, one of the best streams that we've done. I'm very happy with it. I diagnosed myself with like 100 different illnesses, no joke, right? And what do you think that was doing to your body the whole time? Exactly. You know that now. You know that now. Can anxiety give you bipolar symptoms? It can give you symptoms similar, yeah. Yeah. It can make you feel like you're bipolar because you're having a lot of ups and downs. Yeah, I see. Makes sense. Worrying about not being sensitized again means you're still sensitized. Well, it means you're still triggering your body, right? And you're still keeping yourself in that place. Hey, Wonder Bro, how do you cure your anxiety? Have you been listening? Have you been listening? Love your background behind you. Thank you. It was a pain in the ass to hang these lights up, but it was worth it. But very quickly, Brady, very, very quickly, the body doesn't know the difference between a real threat, a real danger, and your imagination. So you have to stop telling yourself negative horror stories. You have to stop getting involved with negative thoughts. The body doesn't know the difference between a real danger and your imagination, so you have to stop fueling negative thoughts and you have to stop getting involved with negative inner dialogue. You have to drop all that and shut up, because the longer you tell yourself negative things, the longer you get involved with negative thoughts, the more fuel to the fire. And since your body doesn't know the difference between a real danger and your imagination, it continues to take a beating and it can't relax, it can't heal. I've got to trim this mustache, man. Look at that. It's so long. It's so long. No, I understand where Brady's coming from. When I was in a sensitized place, it was very hard for me to comprehend things. It was very hard for me to digest things. That's why I try to A, keep it as simple as possible here on the channel, and B, I repeat things a million times because I know people need to hear it a million times. So I get where Brady's coming from. No, it can't turn into something else. It can't turn into something else. So, I mean, if you want to keep it as simple as possible, chat, and give yourself the best plan of action here as far as recovery goes, in my opinion, you just need to hold that little fact as close to your heart as possible. When you're in those moments where you're telling yourself a lot of negative things, when you're in those moments where you're really getting involved with negative thoughts, you need to hold that little fact as close to your heart as possible. Let that serve as your motivator. The body doesn't know the difference between your imagination and a real threat. So, what do you think is happening when you entertain negative thoughts and when you have a negative inner dialogue with yourself? What do you think is happening? So, again, to keep it as simple as possible, hold that little fact close to your heart. Let it be your motivator. Holds, thank you so much for the $10 tip, dude. Thanks, bro. This stuff needs to be heard. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Holds. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. Let's get Holds up there to the stream MVPs. Holds, Mermaid, Sanchez, Sally, thank you guys so much for your contributions. I truly appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Thank you. You're awesome. Truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Forever grateful for you guys. Forever grateful for you guys. No trimming the stash. No trimming the stash. The stash is cool when I actually put it up into like little handlebars, but that takes a lot of wax. A lot of wax. Yeah, that's not unheard of. A lot of people worry that their anxiety is going to develop into some sort of serious mental illness, and that's just not how serious mental illnesses work. It's just not how it works. Go ahead and drop that. Don't entertain that because, again, coming back to our little fact here, what do you think that's going to do to the body if you sit around and entertain that? Hmm? Yeah. All right, guys. It's time. It's time. Mm. So much mustache. I mean, if you think about what we talked about today, with the body not knowing the difference between imagination and a real threat, you can see it in chat with some people that are still not quite to that understanding yet, which is fine. But you can see it in chat just with their comments, how they're keeping their body in that anxious place. You can see it, and I like when they make comments because then I can call them out on it. Hey, do you know what you're doing to your body right now by entertaining that form of thinking? I like it. So I like to see comments like that because I can correct people right in the moment that they're doing it. Right in the moment that they're doing it, I can point out why that's hurting their nerves. So I like when people come at me with comments like that. Because the best way to teach somebody is to call them out while they're doing it. To call them out while they're doing it. Hey Wonder Bro, don't you mind that I follow you on Instagram? I don't mind. Obviously, anybody can follow me on Instagram. In fact, uh, I suggest it. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Fake fear. Yeah, exactly. Hold you get yourself worked up, and again, the body not knowing any difference. What do you think happened to the body behind the scenes here? What's up, Olivia? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good one. Oh, my head feels so much better after taking off that cap. That was insanely tight. Why was I wearing that? I wasn't even aware of it. Welcome to the stream, Olivia. How you doing? Come on in, pull up a chair. We're just hanging out. So I saved that article, okay? And I'm going to pull that article up again for the next stream that we do because it's so crucial. So expect that in our next stream. Wonder Bro, I think you're the only YouTuber that talks about anxiety. That really talks about acceptance. The rest talk about healthy eating. There is a lot of channels out there that talks about healthy eating and that sort of thing. Which again, it's not a bad thing to be a healthy eater. It's not a bad thing to change your diet, whatever, exercise. That's all great and stuff. But if you're not tackling the root problem, which is the negative horror stories, the negative thoughts that you're fueling, if you're not tackling second fear, which is the root problem, then all this other stuff's kind of irrelevant at that point. You've still got that. If you've still got that root problem there, change of diet and exercise and all that stuff, I'm not really sure what good that's going to do you. That stuff should be icing on the cake. It shouldn't be, it's not the root problem. So sleep is messed up again. I slept for 13 hours last night, guys. 13 hours. From San Antonio. Well, welcome to the stream. You're in the right place. So, in case you're just joining us, I'll go over briefly again what we talked about today. The body doesn't know the difference between a real threat, a danger, and your imagination. So if you're telling yourself a lot of horror stories, if you're entertaining a lot of negative thoughts, this is the reason you're not healing, and this is the reason the body continues to produce anxiety because it doesn't know any better. So that was the main point of today's stream. But if you are joining us late, I recommend watching it back. I recommend watching it back. So if you sit around with a lot of negative inner dialogue about panic, about what might happen, if you're entertaining a lot of negative thoughts that come instead of just letting them go, if you're telling yourself a lot of horror stories, the body doesn't know the difference between all of that and a real danger, so the body produces anxiety. The body never gets a chance to heal, and this is the cycle people are in. But if you are late, I do highly recommend you watch this stream from the beginning. It's packed full of good information. But honestly, what I just said right there is the main point. It's the thing that you need to understand the most. I slept like 10. Last night was such good sleep, dude. I don't know why. Probably all the turkey. Actually, I do know why. It had to be all the turkey. Um, I slept so good, like 13 hours. I needed it. I needed it. But I'm still dragging because of it. I'm like a zombie. I'm like a zombie, dude. Yeah, dude. Ugh. Ugh. Thank you. I will rewatch. No problem. Make sure you subscribe too, because we try to do daily live streams. So it's always good for a quick refresher, sharpen up your skills, especially if you're new here. Recommend subscribing. You don't have to. You don't have to, but I recommend it. Plus, we're almost at 10K, so if you want to help out with that. But if your anxiety is fueled from negative thoughts, these aspects won't help any. They might help a little bit, but you're right. It's not going to solve a whole lot. Because I've had people that are vegans that run a mile every morning when they wake up, and then run a mile before bed, and I don't know, do 300 push-ups a day. I've had people like that, and then I've had people on the opposite end of the spectrum that sit around and are fat as hell like me and just eat a bunch of shit like me. Both ends of the spectrum are suffering from some sort of anxiety. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Changed nothing except my involvement with thoughts and healed. Exactly. Exactly. So, because of the body not knowing the difference between a real danger and your imagination, whether you're healthy or whether you're not healthy, if you sit around and entertain negative thinking and sit around and fuel negative thoughts, doesn't matter if you're healthy or not, you're going to experience anxiety because that's how the body's programmed to be. That's just fact. Exactly, Lisa. We all know it to be true. It's just a habit that we need to break. We all know it to be true. It's just a habit we need to break. I like the way you put that. I have subscribed. Well, welcome. I hope you enjoyed here. Happy to have you. Did you cook the Thanksgiving dinner? No, that would be a disaster. If I cooked the Thanksgiving dinner, I wouldn't have a house. The house would have burnt down. And if the house didn't burn down, everyone who ate it would be dead because they'd all have food poisoning. So, no, absolutely not. The extent of my cooking skills is the microwave. There you go. I agree, Olivia. I agree, but also at the same time, I get it. I get it. There's some people who don't subscribe because they don't want anybody to know that they have anxiety, so they don't even want to subscribe to my channel in fear that somebody might find out they have anxiety problems, so they don't subscribe or, whatever. Or there's people that watch and just decide that they don't like me, which is fine too. But if you're going to watch on a consistent basis and you just haven't subscribed because you don't feel like taking 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, then I'm gonna judge you a little bit, to be honest. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck, dude? Like, really? Like, come on, man. I'm helping you out here, it takes 2 seconds. 2 seconds. It's free. But if you're not subscribing because you don't want people to know you're subscribed to an anxiety channel, or if you have reasons as to why you don't, want to subscribe, I get it. I get it. But if you're just not subscribing because you're a lazy bastard, come on, dude. Really? Come on, you lazy fuck. Hit the subscribe button. I wouldn't say anxiety made me lose any friends, but it definitely made me into a very isolated person. Luckily, I never had a big friend group to begin with. The people that I were friends with understood me, and they gave me my space, and it wasn't a problem. Like my best friend, for example, I haven't spoken to him like a proper conversation in about 4 months, but I know we're best friends still. I don't have to question it. That's the kind of people I'm friends with. We don't have to talk every day. We don't have to stay in constant communication, but we still know that we love each other and we got each other's back. That's the kind of people I like to be friends with. So if people are leaving your life because of this or because of that, maybe you should reevaluate who you become friends with and who you consider to be a friend. Thanks, Wonder Bro. Have a great night. Appreciate you. Hey, I appreciate you. Hello there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for another wonderful stream. I'm off to snooze land. Have a good night. Have a good rest. But yeah, if you're gonna be friends with people that flake on you because you're a little distant or whatever, I don't know. Maybe you should reevaluate who you're friends with to begin with. Honestly, because I know for a fact that the people that I consider close friends are people that they understand me, they get me. I don't have to continuously be entertaining them in order for them to consider me a friend. And those are real friends, right? So if you've got very demanding friends who demand your attention all the time in order to be classified as a friend, maybe you should reevaluate who you consider a friend. I just have to treat it like a negative symptom and accept. You're right, King, because there's nothing wrong with being an anxious person. There's nothing wrong with self improvement. There's nothing wrong with saying, I have a problem with second fear. I have, well, let's put it more simple for people to understand. I have a problem with anxiety and I'm working on it. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their issues, okay? Everybody has their issues. Can autism cause anxiety? You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm always honest. I haven't done much research on autism. I don't know a whole lot about autism. That's kind of out of my area of expertise. So I'm going to be honest with you and say I really don't know. I'm sure it can. I'm sure it can. But yeah, this is just one of those things I don't know a whole lot about. Wish I could give you a better answer than that, but I don't know. If I had to make an educated guess, probably. But again, I don't know. Guys, we got some wax warmers here. We're going to get our wax warmer going because this shit smells delicious. Oh my god. I've got to peel out the old wax cube and it doesn't want to come out. Jesus Christ. Ah! Normally they pop out in like one single go. But I'm having to scrape this one. There we go. All right. What should we go with, chat? Should I light up a candy cane wax melt, or should I light up a what is this? I don't know. It looks like a cookie. Let's see what it smells like. If I can get this bag open. Come on. All right, we're just gonna light this one because I'm gonna have to rip the bag to get into it. So smells like sugar cookie. That's what we're gonna put in our wax warmer today. My mom, okay, brought home some of these wax warmers, and they look just like a cookie. Hold on, I'm gonna show you guys actually. I'm gonna show you guys. This is a bit of a funny story. So my mom brought some of these home, and she knows that I love wax cubes, so she gave me some and like a baggie, just like a sandwich baggie. Um, and I didn't know that they were wax cubes. So I opened them up and I smelled them. I was like, oh my god, these smell delicious. And I went to take a bite of it. Okay, where's the cam? I went to take a bite of it. Would you not try to eat that? Chat, be honest. If you've seen this in a bag, and it's Thanksgiving, right? It's this time of year. It's the holidays. Would you not open that bag up and go to take a bite? Because I almost did, and she stopped me. She's like, whoa, 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 you can't eat that. You can't eat that. I'm like, shit. I'm almost 27. I can eat what I want to eat, right? She's like, no, dumbass. That's a wax warmer cube. She didn't actually call me a dumbass, but you know, I almost ate that, and you would have too. I know you would have. All right, well that's that. So that's what we're gonna put in the wax warmer. I'll wash my hands. Wash my hands so I don't smell like wax cube. All right. You're a legend, mate. No, you are. No, you. But yeah, she brought me some of those over. She brought me some of those over in just a sandwich baggie, and they look so good. I've never seen a wax cube look like that. No one is perfect. We just deal with something different. I don't care what no one thinks. If you care what anyone thinks, you can easily fall into depression. Exactly. Exactly. You can't give too much credit to what other people think. You can't, because those people have their own problems. They have their own demons, okay? They're not perfect either. Nobody's perfect, all right? This is like elementary school level stuff. Nobody's perfect, and if you give too much credit to the opinion of other people, you're never going to be happy. Fuck it. There's going to people that love you for who you are, and there's going to be people that hate you. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's so irrelevant. It's so irrelevant. Are you 26 years old? Just turned 27. Just turned 27 not long ago. Doesn't matter the cause, the solution is the same. Yes. Stop entertaining negative thoughts. Drop the negative inner dialogue. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Chris. This was a wonderful stream. I appreciate that, Rita. Thanks for watching. I would eat that right quick. Too pretty not to eat. Right, and it even has like sprinkles on it. Like it's glittery. Oh, it looks so good. Here's the thing. I mean, you're always going to have people that judge you. You're always going to have that certain group of people that don't like you, some for a reason and other for no reason whatsoever. Trying to figure out why someone doesn't like you, pointless, stressful, futile. Forget about it. Forget about it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Focus on the ones who care about you. Focus on the ones who like you for you. And if somebody doesn't like you for you, fuck them. You're just going to stress yourself out trying to figure it out. Just fuck it, dude. It doesn't matter. Which is the same thing I'm teaching with thoughts, right? Fuck them. Doesn't matter. Don't entertain them. Doesn't matter. It's not worth it. This has been a great stream. It really has. We have went over a lot of good stuff today. A lot of good stuff today. Sure looks like something you could eat, right? Exactly. Hey, Wonder Bro, how do you put effects on your stream? I use Streamlabs OBS. I use Streamlabs OBS. I would recommend it. I would recommend it for anybody who's into the streaming thing. It's probably one of the easier things to use. It's pretty much what everybody uses that does content. I kind of want a grilled cheese, chat. That sounds really good right now. All right, guys, we just surpassed the 2 hour mark, so I'm going to go ahead and end this stream here. It will be uploaded. It was an excellent stream. I appreciate all you guys coming out and watching. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for what you do for this channel, for this community. If you would like to join us over on Discord, I'm going to drop the link. It's completely free. Join us over there. Make sure you click that link. I'm going to give you a second. But again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all of the love, all of the support. And I will see you guys in the next stream and or video. Much love, everybody. Mwah.